Hello. We're gonna be playing game. Oh, camera. Camera. I mean camera. Thank you. Why you look dim? Why you look dimmer? Why you look dim? Why do you look dumb? You viewer. Why do you look dumb? You look dumb. That's so rude. You look stupid. You look stupid. You should feel bad about yourself. You should feel bad about yourself. No one likes you. Alright, sorry. Why am I being so mean? Being so mean. Alright. We're gonna be playing our life again. Honestly, I don't have much other visual novels to play. My choices for the future are either play non-visual novels, other games, go deep to find actual new visual novels, which I'm lazy to do. Is there a third one? Is there 4 reasons? The third one is find the problematic ones and play them. I don't know. I don't know. You know, the disgusting ones that not a lot of people like. I can play those ones, but there might not be a lot of people to watch those. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, let's get this started. Hopefully I can find some, or I can just, also with that first one, I'm doing that so that way I can wait for new visual novels to show up. Hopefully there will be some good ones. Okay. We did the talks, because I didn't want to do that last. I did other visual novels and games because I was kind of like, I want to make sure I'm not getting bored of this stuff. Anyway. There we go. Did I? Okay, it's on angle. Okay, good. Cove pushed himself to his feet from where he had been bent down in the sand, stretching out his back and groaning softly. A tired breath slipped past his lips as he wiped his brow, looking out over the shore. Looks great. We stood beside him, joining him in the surveying of the sand that almost seemed to sparkle beneath the midday sun. The two of you had been out of the beach since sunrise, cleaning up and down the beach, looking for various debris, and the work had paid off. Using a hand to shield your eyes from blinding rays, you glanced across the way where the other volunteers from Orca were gathered. They were easily recognizable by the high-vis vests they wore. They looked as though everyone was about to wrap things up for the day. But to see it in a better state. It's pretty sad looking when we got here. Beaches of this town were practically your own personal backyard, and you visit them a lot. It felt good knowing that you were helping to take care of them. Too bad not everyone sees the joy in putting trash where it belongs. Oh well. Yeah, it's like, just walk, people just walk. With your trash in hand. Forgot to put this in the trash. Just do this. Walk all the way to where the trash can is. I don't care. I don't care if it's across the country. If there's only the trash can across the country, walk there. throw it in the trash. I have trash there. So it's not that fucking hard. It's not that fucking hard. Stop being a lazy bitch. You're like the people in high school I was with who are so lazy to put their trash away. Before we put excuses, there's no fucking janitors walking around outside. They're not on the fucking ocean picking trash up. They're not on the fucking beach picking the trash up. Put your trash away. Anyway, because that was the excuse that kids said when I was in high school and middle school. Anyway, Cove placed his hands on his hips, a pleased grin pulling at the corners of his mouth as he admired the work you'd both done. You had begun to realize, during your time volunteering for the organization, how seriously Cove took his service. It was easy to see that it was something important to him. Ooh. That seems... well, equally as invested in giving your best. Can't speak. I'm tired. It was important that the ocean you grew up with was protected. It had always been a big part of your life, and you felt that the least you could do was give back to it in some way. It's something. Hey, nice work, Snow. Thanks. It's been a good year so far. It's crazy to think that it's already time to push the big event. Wait. I think I remember something. Inkling. You let out a big breath, thinking of a formal dinner that Orca organized every year. Being a completely fundraising focused event for large donors. It was crucial for the organization's projects in the years to come. You had to be over 18 to attend, so this was your first opportunity to actually see it in person. All you have heard about it so far was that it was a prim and proper occasion with speeches and everything. You didn't know what else to expect from it, as you weren't a part of the group who planned the event. Before the big night came around, the volunteers would have to sell the tickets for it, and that's where you'd be helping. I don't really want to go. I'm nervous about the event. Just had to go. I'm not sure what to feel. Excited? Nervous? Shrugged? I don't know. It didn't really bother you whether you went or not. You were doing... Curious. Let's say curious. It might be fun. I've never been to a professional type party. Cove nodded. He seemed a little reluctant. I mean, I just don't feel excited about attending some super formal meal with proper etiquette and stuff, you know? Yeah, you have to put your hand. What? Fancy dinner stuff. I'm not gonna fucking explain the list. He threw his arms out to the side, making a bit of a show at how ridiculous it seemed to him. I've got sand all in my room and one nice shirt, and I go barefoot pretty much whenever I can. I'm gonna be out of place. Yeah, I don't want to worry about manners. Who's this one? Being the true beach bum you were meant to be. He chuckled a little and gave you a sidelong glance. You know me too well. A small beeping noise came from Cove's pant pocket, and he pulled it out and glanced at the screen. Huh? It's the organizers. They sent a text to the group. Time to call it a day here. Alright, ready to head to our next activity. Cove tucked his cell away eagerly, turning to you. Let's head over and drop the trash bags off at the trucks. Then we can drive back and join the ticket team. We've got to be there pretty soon to relieve them. With a stretch of shore this long, the plan was to switch places with the other team who had been pushing tickets for the fundraising dinner halfway through. It would be a full day of work, but it was Orca's largest event of the year, and all hands were on deck to make sure it was a success. I don't know why this reminds me of Dan. Like, whenever, like, Phil doesn't want to go anywhere, he just pushes, Dan just pushes Phil. Like, if he doesn't want to walk, he just pushes Dan. Or pushes Phil. God, what the fuck? I'm so bad at names. No. Come on, I know. Game lagging. Let's do the Daniel Howell thing. Time to go. He resisted, leaning his weight against your hands and digging his feet into the sand. With the burst of laughter, you pulled away and he almost fell backwards into the sand. Hey! He joined in with the laughter while stumbling to catch himself. He collected the trash bags spread along the way together, heading across the beach to hoist them into the trucks, before heading off to the next drop. Cove slipped his warm hands into yours and you intertwined your fingers, strolling back to the car side by side. The drive back to your neighborhood and making your way to the shopping street was fairly quick, though Cove stressed a little about being late. Luckily, he was able to find a nice parking spot and close to where you needed to be. You jumped out of the car and quickly went towards where you knew the group would be. Finally reaching the stall that was set up to sell tickets, you stopped for a moment to catch your breath. That was quite the flurry of activity. It was your job for the rest of the afternoon to help sell tickets for the fundraising dinner. And looking around the street, you saw that there were plenty of potential buyers out today. That would hopefully help to move the tickets along. The stall itself was simple. A portable table with a few plush sea animals as decorations and a banner stuck across the front. There were two volunteers who were already packing up and getting ready to head off to the beach. They gave both of you a friendly smile as you arrived. Hey, Go Snow, how did things go at the beach?
Not bad.
It was good. The place is looking great. We're lucky to get 2 for 1 when it comes to you guys. Cove cleared his throat awkwardly from beside you and noticed his cheeks flushing pink. Come on, we're not that clingy with each other. It was true that you and Cove were together a lot, but did they really need to point it out like that? You decided it was probably best to just move on and change the topic. Anyway, we're here now. Volunteers made room for you and Cove behind the table, while they circled around to the front of it. Thanks for coming in for the ship. We better make this quick so we can head off to the next place. No problem. What do you need to do? We're ready for whatever is needed. One of the volunteers handed you a clipboard with all the details needed to sell tickets, while the other tossed a set of keys to Cove, which he caught with ease. Those are for the money box and supply kit. Make sure to keep them on you at all times. Aside from handling the cash for the tickets, there's also a form on the clipboard for the guests to fill in their info. That way we know how many tickets we've sold and who will be attending the event. There's a small script beneath that if you get stuck for what to say, and that's about it. Pretty simple, huh?
Uh-huh.
I think we got this. Satisfied that you knew what you were doing, the volunteers said their goodbyes and started walking away, leaving you and Cove to manage the stall alone. The keys jingled in his hands as Cove waved them off, before he stuffed them into his pocket of his pants for safekeeping. We'll bring in a lot of money. Have fun at the beach. Once the volunteers were outside, Cove dropped into his chair behind the counter with a sigh. We made it here just in time. It's cool we traded places with nothing happening. They might have been late getting to cleanup duty. He leaned back in his seat, getting fully comfortable in the space, and gave you a small smile. Kind of spaced out. Took the other seat. It was just a simple plastic chair that squeaked when you sat on it, but it gave you a good view of the street. Glad this work lets us at least rest in one place. Yeah, I really need to get off my feet for 5 seconds. Cove rummaged around the station a little, picking up a stuffed toy orca and holding it in front of his face. You had to admit it was pretty cute, with its big bulging eyes and oversized flippers. Setting it back down on the table, Cove moved on to check out the rest of the stall, finding a cooler stashed beneath the table. When he pulled it out and he opened the lid so you could see it was filled with half-melted ice cubes and half a dozen of water bottles of water. Grabbing one of the plastic bottles, he unscrewed the cap and took a long drink. He watched the condensation running along the side and onto his fingers.
So?
You want one? Cove set the water on his side. Sorry, I can't speak. Cove set his water on the side of the table before pulling it out towards you. I guess it's good to bring your own, right? Yeah, oh, yeah, okay. You pull out a reusable bottle from the bag you had brought with you and set it on the table for easy access. The two of you got settled in easily, and you took the chance to look over the paperwork on the clipboard. Cove joined you, leaning over your shoulder to get a better look. I'm gonna look at things. Everything seems good with the stream. Close. There we go. The two of you got settled in easily and took the chance to look over the paperwork on the clipboard. Cove joined you, leaning over your shoulder to get a better look. Seems like pretty standard stuff, he muttered. And you nodded quietly. It had general info about the event and the work you needed to do at the stall, as well as the amount of tickets sold thus far, and the number remaining. Cove tapped a finger on the counter as he read quietly over the nose, muttering a few things now and then that you didn't fully hear. He seemed content to be there, and you were sure that the afternoon would pass by quickly. When he glanced towards the crowd and made a small sound, you followed this line of sight to see a potential supporter was on their way over to the booth. Quietly continued checking over the papers. Hi, how are you today? Cove greeted the person as they approached, and you were glad he had stepped in instead of making you do it. You were much more content with working in the background, so you designated yourself with the task of taking guest details down instead. Time passes, the two of you man the stall, and as people approach, your sales pitch would either have them asking for a ticket or two, or heading off and mumbling maybe next time. All in all, you managed to sell a decent amount of tickets, and you could tell that Cove was happy with the outcome. As the afternoon drifted along, 6 p.m. arrived. Time to pack up everything and head home for the evening. Your work with Orca was far from over, but right now there was only one thing left to focus on: attending the actual event. The days continued on in a normal flow, and before long, the night of the Orca fundraising dinner was upon you. It was early evening, and you were in your room getting ready as the minutes ticked closer and closer towards the time you needed to leave. Did I ever do this? I think I did. The two of you were chatting as you were getting ready, making sure to keep an eye on the time and not get carried away with the conversation. The event had strict guidelines, and you wouldn't be let in unless you were dressed to code. That meant having to find a truly professional outfit, but one that you were also happy with. You weren't happy having to dress up. Fancy clothes were all stuffy, uncomfortable, and just totally unnecessary. Your lips puckered into a frown as you rifled through the options with a tired sigh. I know the dress code isn't great, but I know you can make it work somehow. I never thought I'd see the day where Cove Holden would encourage me to wear something formal. A quiet chuckle came from your phone, and you smiled at the sound. Yeah, this is really a once-in-a-lifetime event. Taking a deep breath to refocus yourself, you looked over the options one last time and decided it's time to decide on an outfit, and quick. Pants. Button down shirt and pants. That sounds like it'd be totally fine. I'm wearing the same kind of thing. Standing in front of your mirror, you quietly assessed your outfit. Thought about adding an accessory too. I needed a little something extra to finish it off. Rummaging through the rest of your wardrobe, you picked out what you needed to complete your outfit. Where is it? You quickly had to remove your shoes to slip on the anklet before stepping back into them again. And I think that's all. Oh. And with that, ready to go. And finally you were dressed. It had all come together. Okay, I just gotta change my shirt and then I'll be at the car. See you in a minute. Okay. You carefully head down the stairs into your living room where your moms were waiting for your appearance. Will they notice the anklet? No, probably not. As you entered, they both stood from the couch and came over to you, smiling broadly. You look wonderful, Snow, and very mature too. Nice work, kid. They continued to coo and fuss over you until you managed to brush them off. Ma took Mom by the arm and held her close, the two of them admiring you proudly. Sighed dramatically. Ugh. You were going to be running late if you didn't get going. Liz came over to you and smirked, as if she were reading the very thoughts in your head. You have to get used to this one day, Snow. You're the baby of the family forever, after all. Ma came and give you one last hug. Before you knew it, another pair of arms were wrapped around you, then a third. Both Mom and Liz giggled as they hugged you tightly. We hope you have so much fun tonight.
Have fun.
We won't wait up for you. Stay out as long as you need. You're old enough now. Yeah. With one last wave, you left your family and approached the front door. It was time. You stepped out and closed the door firmly behind you and looked out across the street. There you go. Cove was standing in the street. His eyes met yours immediately, as if he had been watching your house for the moment you had come out. He smiled bashfully. Hey, Snow. Hey, stranger, I barely recognize you. You took the chance to check over his outfit as he walked across the way to meet you. It was formal for sure, though it didn't feel overly posh. It made sense for him and was honestly a sight for sore eyes. He was always beautiful to you. With a growing smile, he stepped closer, his cheeks reddening all the way down to his neck.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming with me and for dressing really nice to this. Your outfit is just perfect. His gaze traveled downwards to take in your full form, and he leaned in, only inches away from your face, to whisper in your ear, his warm breath tickling your skin. What an ankle bracelet. Your cheeks were hot. You bit down on your lip to keep from smiling too much. Reward for you. You might appreciate, and it is a special night. He smiled at you softly, the corner of his eyes crinkling as he brought his face closer, to the point where the tips of your nose were touching. You're always so nice to me. He raised a hand and lightly trailed his fingers down your side, his touch tingling your skin through the fabric of your shirt. You started to wonder if it was a good idea after all. Cove acting like that was killing you, and you haven't even started the trip to the dinner yet. It took a great amount of effort to focus your thoughts and react to his overall assessment to your look. He's so hot right now, he said flirtatiously. Cove hung his bright red face in embarrassment after that. He wrapped his arms around his torso bashfully, as if trying to protect himself and the outfit from further teasing. Come on, Snow. He laughed at his reaction. Then he shook his head, glancing back towards the garage and throwing a thumb over his shoulder.
Come on.
Spoke. We should probably get going. We won't want to be late to such a grown-up event, right? Yeah, let's go. You headed over to Cove's car together, hopping in and strapping on your seatbelts. You were on your way. The event was being held at a place you had never been to before. You brought up the location on your phone to help Cove navigate there. It took some time to find the right address, and once you were there, you were met with the task of finding a parking spot. Let's speak. Though you were on time, it seemed like everyone else had already showed up and claimed the spaces. Eventually, you found a suitable place, before realizing that it required payment. Cove covered the amount, taking a ticket from the machine and leaving it on the dashboard of the car. There we go. We're at the fancy event at the aquarium. Despite the small holdup, you managed to ultimately make it to the event and confirm you are on the guest list before being shown into the dining area. Cove whistled low as he looked around, taking in the extravagance of the room. Chandeliers hung from the ceilings, and the entire place was decked out with beautiful oceanic displays. I still wonder what this would be like in a movie. As a movie, this whole game like a movie. You were stunned yourself. It was extremely high class, even more so than you had already expected. Could be worse. It was so overdone. It's too freely for me. I don't know. Like, I do appreciate the thought, but also I'm not really a big fancy person. So, yeah, I'm not gonna comment. Ooh. You simply looked around at all the lights and crystals everywhere. The sound of your names being called out echoed over the din of the room. When you looked around, you recognized a couple of the organization leaders looking your way. They approached you both in greeting, giving you a welcoming smile and a hello. Snow, Cove, we're glad you can make it. Especially after all the hard work you've done to make this night happen.
Of course.
Definitely, I wasn't gonna miss it. Oh, that's rude joke. That's a rude joke. You said that if I had a choice. Oh, wow. Wow. Hello, I'm thrilled to have made it. This place looks amazing. So nice to do something like this. And thank you for being part of the team. Best favorite couple. That's for sure. You're always welcome to participate in more events when they come up. Let a awkward, breathy laugh and rub the back of his neck. You know, my boyfriend would be happy to. Cobra shrugged in, eyes darting around the place with an awkward look.
So...
I guess we should talk to more people. There isn't much else to do at the event like this. Wait. Was there someone here? I don't think so. You found your way into groups of people who were standing around chatting while some light music played in the background. Servers with large silver trays were gliding between guests and offering drinks and knapes? Knapes? What the fuck is knapes? I don't know, probably some food. Cove approached various people as you wound your way through the guests. He managed broaching new conversations well. You were enjoying talking to so many different people, both guests and members of the organization alike, and you found yourself enjoying the company. The sound of a microphone crackling came from the podium at the end of the room. Someone who you assumed must be the host for the event was asking everyone to sit down in preparation for the meal and speeches. You and Cove looked for your table, finding it easily enough by the little name cards that were placed delicately beside the napkins. A few others joined you at the table, though they weren't anyone you had recognized. The host was still speaking as people were settling, starting off the speeches by giving a welcome to everyone attending. She went on to provide some more information about Orca, which you suppose was for the guests who weren't part of the organization, and the purpose of the fundraiser tonight. Orca's goals, as she explained it, were to aid in the conservation and restoration of oceans and beaches. There were many people who had helped to make the group as successful as it was. When she read off a list of several volunteers who worked on making the event happen, Cove's name was one of the first to come up. Chess? What? I just mixed these words. His chest puffed out in pride after that. Your name then came after a little further down the list. You were smiling from ear to ear at the mention. As she continued to thank the large donors for the event, you checked over at Cove. He was grinning happily to himself and tapping his fingers over the top of his knees, pretty pleased to have been mentioned by name. Excited for him. He had worked so hard to make this event happen. It was the least that he deserved. While the host continued speaking, multiple servers dressed in black were setting the first course of the meal in front of the guests. One of the servers sat down a plate in front of you, and you thanked them quietly. Before looking over the dish with interest, you recognized the dish as a simple Caesar salad. I like that. Honestly, my favorite salad, I think. The host quickly wrapped up the end of her speech, thanking everyone once more for inviting you all to begin your meal. Anyone who had a special dietary note when signing up for the event received a vegan or vegetarian option. And there were also small baskets of bread set around the table. Ooh. I ate both the salad and the bread. I don't have any really dietary restrictions. I don't think so, at least. I'm trying to reduce my cholesterol. I think that's the only thing. Anyway. Cove wolfed down his salad before munching into a breadstick, quickly devouring that as well. Hope the next part comes out soon in his speaker. You could hear him mumbling to himself as he reached for another piece of bread. He glanced around the table and he followed his line of sight with curiosity, knowing that everyone else was still eating the salad. Stopping his head and hand mid-air, he quickly pulled back and rested it on his lap without taking another breadstick after all. It was clear that he was starting to feel unsure of himself, and he looked a little off place here. He folded his arms and turned away from them to you. Hey, did you like the salad? It's really good. I like Caesar salads, so they're good. Oh yeah, croutons. Just get some croutons. Honestly, I've thought about like, what if I could just buy a bag of croutons just to eat? I would love that. Anyway, I can't wait to see what else they serve. His gaze remained purposely tunneled on you, as if he was trying not to think about what the rest of the table might be doing. He discreetly flipped off the other guests. He sat there quietly, feeling uncomfortable. He made silly faces at the other guests, but they weren't looking. This would be so immature at a professional event. Honestly, I feel like I would do that. I would do that, yeah. Do not bring me to a event. I will probably be very, very unprofessional. Okay. I want to do this. Picked up a breadstick and gave it a Cove. It's okay. Thank you. Cove spoke gently as he took the bread from your hand. Looking choked up at your reassurance, he munched away on it happily, seeming much more at ease. Breadsticks are good, so I honestly understand why he wants some more. It wasn't much longer until the main course was arriving, and the various steak, chicken, and veggie dishes were being served throughout the room. Ooh, chicken, steak. I'm gonna get steak. I feel steak right now. An array of scents wafted through the room, making your mouth water. Had chosen the steak. It was nice that you had been given the option of how you liked your steak cooked, and the meal on the plate in front of you seemed perfect to your taste. Cove had gone for the steak. Oh, he'd gone for the steak too. Gone for the steak too. I like that. Yeah, I'm going for the steak. Either that or the chicken. Which I'm not really in the mood for chicken. So, steak. Cove had gone for the steak, and once he started to dig in, he was completely absorbed by his meal. You're gonna choke if you keep inhaling your food like that. Ooh. You put a hand on his thigh under the table. You focused on your own food. I'm just gonna I just want to see the different things and what his reactions to each of them are. Put a thigh on it under his table. Hand under his thigh. You couldn't resist a little teasing while he was distracted. Your arm reached forward out of view of everyone else, hidden by the heavy tablecloth. You let your fingers lay to rest on the center of his nearest thigh. Cove stopped eating, his elbows beat against the top of the table in shock, as his face slowly turned red. Ooh, the tableware next to him rattled from the impact. When it settled down, he spoke creakily. without moving to face you directly. Yes, nothing is something the matter. Please stop. Stop teasing me. He flustered, frowned deeply. Snow, you should probably. So shut up quietly. I got the impression that he was about to ask you to stop, but he really didn't want you to. He kept your hand where it was for a little longer, giving his leg a gentle squeeze until he cleared his throat and leaned in a little closer to you. You shouldn't keep doing that. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna embarrass him at a professional event. We'll just see the other choices. I really want to see this. This is I wouldn't want to do. You centered a pea in a clear spot on your table, taking time to get the right angle. He wasn't going to notice that you were doing what you were doing as long as he had food in front of him. When it was perfect, you struck the tiny thing in him directly in the side of his cheek. He pulled it upright in his shock, almost choked on his mouthful of food. The look he gave you was far from impressed. His eyes held a glint of amusement. You threw your gaze away from him innocently, as though you had done nothing at all. When you peeked to see if he had gone off scot-free, he rolled his eyes and returned to his meal. Again. I want to see what the kick him is. I don't think I've ever done that one. I have. Okay. The tips of your toes knocked against his shin discreetly, but enough for him to really feel it. He pulled it upright, almost choked on his mouthful of food. The look he gave you was far from impressed. His eyes still held a glint of amusement. Okay. Same thing as the pea. You're gonna choke if you keep inhaling your food like that, he retorted, without even looking up from his dish. Most of the people here can do CPR, so I'll be fine. It'll be fine. You shook your head in amusement as he continued fervently eating at the same pace. Dinner had ended, and last of all was dessert, a lemon sorbet that had been partially dyed blue. The mix of white with bold streaks of blue made the scoop look like a ball of roaring ocean waves. What? Oh. The effect was very pretty, but the serving size was small. Yeah. Perhaps it was the price to pay for artistry. He turned to Cove to find him pouting a little at the size. Yeah. He's like, it's too small. It's too small. Fucking rich people. I hate you. Why do rich people have to have small stomachs? I hate it. Digging into the dessert, it took him only a few bites to polish it off. Again, the other people around the table had barely even begun eating. The unimpressed air settled over him as he sat back in his chair, sipping at his water unhappily. Did I ever laugh at his moping? I don't think I ever did. I just said, hey, we'll get some dessert. Are you really upset that your dessert is not large enough? He looked at you sheepishly, embarrassed to having been caught sulking over such a thing. He fumbled at the defense.
I mean,
it was really good, that's all. Now it's gone, but I'm okay. It's like, too small. I understand. I'd be upset too. We could get more dessert later. That's what I did before. I remember that. I remember. He gave him an encouraging smile. He looked up at you sheepishly, embarrassed to have been caught sulking over such a thing.
I mean,
with a slight grin, he shrugged to show that he was really fine. I was like, you want a bite of mine? And my brain thought of something so weird. Oh, it's so weird. Makes me think of that, that one video. Is that romantic or just gross? I don't know if I should say it. No, I'm gonna say it. It's gross. What if you just, you know, ate the dessert, you still had it in your mouth, and you try to kiss and whatever. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross. I don't know why I ever thought that. I was like, that's gross. That's gross. Anyway. Would you like a bite of mine? Do you want my dessert? Alright, go. You like a bite of mine? I'll share it, but I'm still gonna eat some. You scooped up a spoonful of your sorbet and offered it to him, holding a hand underneath it to avoid any drips. His eyes widen as he eyed the dessert hungrily, surprised by the offer. Recovering quickly, he leaned forward over the table, lifting out of the chair a little as he ate the treat from your spoon. As he sat back, humming happily with his mouth full, he couldn't help but smile at the sight. He swallowed the far ocean and let out a satisfied sigh. Even though it wasn't that much more, the simple fact that he had gotten more hit the spot.
Thanks.
Thanks, Snow. You're welcome. You're pleased to see that he was perkier. Honestly, I can taste the lemon sorbet. I don't know why. It's just, I know it tastes good. And you went back to eating the rest of your dessert. Another person from Orca got on stage to make a speech as everyone was nearing the end of their meal. They spoke mostly about the individual projects that the organization was working on, and their plans for the near future, as well as encouraging anyone who was interested to consider participating. Cove bent forward over the table with his chin balanced on his hand, listening attentively to the words. The fuck is going on with my mouse? The fuck? Why did it go there? I don't know. As they came to a conclusion, everyone gave them a round of applause. Cove caught your eye and smiled. You wonder what would happen now. The lights dimmed. A couple of spotlights came on, projecting water light effect around the room. The guests gushed over the ambience, and you looked around with wide eyes at the ripples on the walls. The DJ that had previously been playing some soft mood music in the background announced that the floor would be open for dancing, slowly turning the volume up so it drifted through the space. Wonder what DJing is like. I've dealt with, like, in college, you know, sound systems and stuff. PA systems. Is it similar? Probably. When you glanced at Cove, his eyes had shot up. He mumbled quietly.
Huh.
He didn't know there would be dancing. Oh, I didn't know there would be dancing. I guess it makes sense now that I think about it. Gave an awkward laugh as you both watched as people rose from their seats. It was clear now that many of the donors were couples. A small crowd had started to form on the dance floor, and the DJ played a romantic song to get everyone started off. Cove let his gaze float over the small sea of guests who were moving onto the floor, his hands twisting in his lap as his lips pulled into a tight line. I want to make a movie. Sorry. It would make so much sense for, like, I wonder how it would work still. Like, how would you show life going forward in a movie kind of setting? How would you be able to fit mostly everything? into it. I'm thinking a lot of things. And money. If I had money. If I was like a billionaire, I would ask GB Patch if I could do it. Anyway. And then with a breath and the lift of his hand, he turned to you.
Well,
Wanna dance with me? Yeah, we have to find someone who looks a lot like Cove. Get them a wig. For the hair. That also means hiring child actors. Anyway. Just about to ask you the same thing. Let a stuttering laugh relieve. Oh, that's good. Accepting Cove's outstretched hand, you arose from your seats together and stepped out onto the floor. When you had found a spot for yourselves amongst the other guests, you turned and faced him, standing close. Cove gave you a small smile as you looked up at him. He seemed a little nervous. I don't know how to dance. Not for real. He immediately gave a slight squeeze to your hand and a sheepish look. You gave him a reassuring grin and nudged a little closer to him still. It's okay, I know. With a familiar face full of affection, he let go of you and raised his arms to slide both of your hands around behind your neck. Can't speak. You wrapped your arms around him in response. Together, you gently swayed to the music, moving your feet in time to the delicate beat. It was nice just being here like this, in each other's arms. You didn't have to worry about whether you knew the right steps or not. There was always a way to make it work between the two of you. What did I just get? Yeah, I know there's an update to Promises to Keep. I know that. I'm gonna wait till Promises to Keep is full. Or maybe not. Maybe I should play it. I played most of it. But I guess playing it on it live might be good. Playing through it. I'm not sure. It was nice just being here like this, in each other's arms. You didn't have to worry about whether you knew the right steps or not. There was always a way to make it work between the two of you. Did I get more? No, I didn't. I just thought I saw something. Cove leaned his head in near to yours, his forehead so close that yours... His foot... I can't speak. His forehead so close to yours that they almost touched. His breath was warm as he let out a content sigh, tickling your skin. You really do look good tonight. You're such a gorgeous guy. You clean up pretty well yourself. He chuckled softly as you took a second to admire him, running your eyes down the front of his chest. Have you had a nice time? I hope you did. No answer, just a kiss. You leaned and kissed him. His eyelids fluttered closed as your lips met in a soft kiss, and when he pulled back, he smiled at you gently. His bright eyes stayed locked on yours, studying you with unmistakable adoration. Thank you for staying. You're still here, just like you promised you would be. Your heart felt light as you continued to sway whilst holding your most beloved person. So glad to be able to share a moment like this with him. A lot has happened, huh? Nodded faintly. You weren't sure if he meant just today, the summer, or your entire time knowing each other. but it really didn't matter. It was true either way. Thinking back on the years that you and Cove had been neighbors, it was difficult to even try to reflect on it all at once.
I'm so glad.
Glad we ended up here. He gave you a soft look and you beamed, knowing that could also mean many things. But from his tone, you were certain that he didn't only mean here at this event. It was more than that. No one, nor else I'd rather be. You loved him, fully and completely you did. His smile widened and he pressed his body against yours, resting his head into the crook of your neck, stroking the back of your head with his fingers. You tighten your grip on him and let your head fall against his shoulder. As the knife drifted on, you held each other tight, swaying to the music as if you were the only ones in the room. Cove was sweet the entire time. His warmth brushing against your skin as he whispered words of affection in your ear. He was extremely good at making you feel special. You couldn't have hidden your blissful smile, even if you wanted to. The party eventually started to wind down, and at last, it came to an end. When the main lights turned on, you blinked against the brightness of them, making sure you still had Cove in your sights. One final speaker came to the podium on the stage, thanking all of the guests for coming and wishing everyone a good night. It was bittersweet to see it come to a close. Your time with Cove here was precious. At least the memories could be brought with you. Given the space, one more look, you always walk together with Cove out to the parking lot. Oh yeah, we'll see this parking lot one more time. The other guests were doing the same. So you got stuck in a bit of a crowd, though Cove was tall so you could always see him, and it was easy enough not to get separated. The parking lot itself was quite big, and even more noticeable now with fewer cars blocking the view. It took a little while to actually locate Cove's car across its expanse. You eventually found it. The two of you bundled inside the vehicle and buckled up. The trip home was quiet, as you both silently reflected back on the experience. The event had been the biggest night of the year for Orca, and now it was all over, just like that. Outside your window, the surroundings soon became familiar, and you found yourselves back in your neighborhood. Cove pulled the car into his driveway and put it in park before letting out a relieved breath. Home sweet home, yeah. After climbing out of the car, you walked slowly down the road. Cove coming over to stand beside you. You stood in the middle of the street, right between your house and his, and turned to him, finding him in the process opening his mouth to speak. Strangely, he clamped his lips together, as though he had suddenly thought better of it. Wait, what about the dessert? Thank you for taking me tonight. Thanks for coming with me. Kissed him goodnight. Needing to be close again before the night ended, you pressed your lips against him in a gentle kiss. He smiled as you separated, running his fingers over the side of your face.
Night.
Nice snow. There's a train. With a last wispy smile, he left it towards his front door, figuring you shouldn't linger in the street for much longer. You crossed the remainder of the road and did the same. I hate that I live near a railroad. Can you hear it? No, my noise gate is doing a good job. Unless you can hear it when I'm talking. I don't think... Yeah, you can't hear it. I don't see any waveforms about it. Oh, it's annoying. Anyway. When you reached your house, you pulled out your keys and stuck them in the door, trying your best to be silent about it. Opening the door crack, you turned back and looked at Cove from over your shoulder. Your eyebrows lifted when you see he was doing the same, holding his front door open, but waiting for you to go inside before he did. He shared an amused smile before you stepped inside into your house, locking the door behind you. It was quite late, so everyone was already asleep. As quiet as a mouse, you tiptoed into your bedroom and changed out of your former clothes into your pajamas. Now that you were finally home, you were exhausted. You brushed your teeth and got ready for bed in darkness before crawling under the covers and laying out a heavy breath. Right, is he gonna come in the window? It's still strange to think about how it was. The build up to the event had felt like so much. Now it was completely behind you. Your mind was busy with rapid, yet muddled thoughts as you faded closer and closer to sleep. And unconsciousness crept on you. You felt more content. It was a big deal, but there would be more in the future. You could accept what it had been, and you could dream about what you'd get to experience next. Oh, yep, yep, yep. Yep. Cove can't stay away. He can't stay away. He cannot. Why am I fucking red? Oh no. Then you were taken away from dreams right back into reality by a sound. I wonder who. Your eyebrows pinched together, fully unprepared to be part of the waking world again. The day was over and had been an eventful one. But you heard another noise. It was tapping. Your eyes flew open. The window. There was tapping that came from your window. Cove Holden. Slowly force yourself to get up. That's truly. Pried yourself out of bed. Your blanket was flung back. You rolled out, then sank to the floor. You froze there for a second to let your half-asleep brain process the fact that you were mostly on your feet now. There was another tap at the window. You shuffled towards the window. Something akin to a zombie. Blurrily, you opened the window, and there was Cove. You blinked at him. You had not been surprised to find Cove awkwardly crouched on your window ledge. However, you were taken aback when you see he was a little overdressed. Cove hadn't changed out of his formal clothes. You had also noticed he was perched clumsily. You didn't know if it was because he was trying to keep his fancy clothes clean or if he felt weird about something. His body was too stiff and awkward. Cove smiled sheepishly. Hi, Snow. I'm tired. I've seen a clock. It's too late for this. Honestly, that's truly. It's like you moved aside and let him climb inside. You cautiously stepped down by stretching his legs over. Strangely, he didn't use his hands for support. It was clear to you by now he was holding something. When he was safely on his feet, he briefly checked out his clothes, twisting around to see the back of his pants. He caught you looking and shrugged.
I
did go home after the event, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to settle down, so I just walked back out. I needed some fresh air and time away from everything. He paused for a moment and clasped together hands where you could see them. But then something happened, and well, so I have something I want to show you. He grinned like a child and gently unfurled his fingers, not being able to keep you in suspense for a minute longer. A firefly! Carefully sitting inside was a tiny yellow light. It blinked off and then on again, a firefly. Delicately, he moved his hands closer to you so you could see the creature better. You're back. Oh yeah, I forgot about this CG. Is there a character gallery thing? No, there's not. I don't think so. A character gallery on this game. This is a character gallery picture, but anyway. He closed his eyes, his smile now faintly illuminated by his insect companion. Remember the first time I caught one? I always will. I could barely manage anything because of that neon pink cast I was stuck with all summer. You were still stunned by what was happening, but couldn't help snickering when Cove did. It was thanks to you that I was finally held a firefly in my own hand. You're welcome, Cove. When it happened, it was just memorable for me. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see them this year. I don't know why. It's just they were kind of late, and I guess I've been worrying about a lot of stuff lately. You could tell that the firefly genuinely lifted his spirits. He seemed at peace. He wanted to share that with you. The fact that his first thought after discovering the fireflies had come over and celebrated the joy with you made you suddenly feel very cherished. Cove opened his eyes, but he looked away, not meaning yours.
It's nice.
It's really nice, I think. Even if the fireflies disappeared for a while, it doesn't mean that they're really gone. They'll come back. I can see them again. Technically. It's just being a fuck. Technically, the fireflies aren't even gone. They're just acting on larva. We wait for him to continue. He looked at your face, his smile now fragile. Makes me think about the two of us. We're together, then we say goodbye, then we're together again, day after day, year after year, and even if our time apart gets longer, it doesn't make it forever. I remember hating that, like, I think even with step 4, it was, I figured out we weren't together all the time, or something like that. Or maybe it was the thing of us not being, maybe being out of town and him being in town. Maybe it was that thing, I don't remember. But still, I was like, this is sad. So I'll always be there whenever you want to see me. He needed to know that you were in love with him. However, your heart started to pound in your ears and all you could hear was blood rushing. You looked over to Cove and found yourself fixated. The only thing you were aware of was your rapid pulse in him. It was as if your entire relationship was playing over in your mind. Every step that led you here. Everything that was the first night you met with him as just a little kid. From the way he had always held a special place in your heart. For the first time you saw fireflies together. The first time he snuck in your room. And then to every other moment you shared. All of it came back to you. Oof. Cove's expression had turned curious as you left him waiting wordless. He tilted his head in question, his lips parted to speak, then you went first. I love you so much. Your confession, the world. With your confession, the world stopped for a second. Cove froze. Sorry. Oh my. Why the hell am I crying? Oh my god. Why the hell am I crying? See my eyes? Why the hell am I crying? I don't think you'll ever see that happen again. I don't know. Who knows? You might see it happen again. Why the hell did that happen? I don't know why. It was just a small little thing, and then I'm fine now. I'm fine now, and I'm not crying. I don't know. I felt like crying for a bit, and now I'm not. Ugh, God. Why the hell did that happen to me? Then, as if your words had turned a faucet, tears began to fall down Cove's cheeks. He silently mouthed something, but you couldn't make out a word. Cove? I'm gonna cry again. I think I'm gonna cry. You step closer and closer, remove the distance between the two of you. He covered his mouth with his hand. He must have forgotten about the firefly resting there, and it flew off into the night with a twinkle. He used his other hand to shakily reach over and interlace his fingers with yours. He gripped you tightly as he started sobbing harder. You cried with him, because that's literally what I was doing. I was crying. I was about to cry. I was about to, like, literally burst into tears. I don't know why I didn't really do it all that much, but I was about to. I was about to. Just seeing him cry, I was about to. Tears streamed down your face, and he looked at a little alarmed when you started crying into his shoulder. I love you, Cove. Oh. He removed his hands from his mouth and used it to hold the back of your head. He brought your face to him, bending his neck down to be closer to your level. I feel like it would hit much harder if you'd had a crush this whole time, you never kissed him, and then you said that. I feel like that would hit harder for me. That would hit harder for me. That would make me cry, I think. He brought your face to him, bending his neck down to be closer to your level. Your foreheads brushed together. Your voice trembled, it cracked, and it shook. It was raw, straight from Cove's heart. I love you. He closed his eyes tightly and repeated it himself. But now he could say it firmly. I love you. His aqua eyes sparkled when he opened them again. Fresh tears poured out with an outburst of emotion.
Sorry?
Snow, I'm sorry, I can't get it together. I tried so much to love you quietly, secretly, and that being it. But I really wanted you to feel the same. I wanted you to love me back. I wanted to hear you say it. I kept thinking, what if you didn't? Maybe, what if I felt too much and I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know what to do. But I didn't want to put any of that on you either. You weren't doing something bad. Everything you do is right and wonderful.
I'm always like this.
It wasn't your fault I had to be like that. I'm just like that. He leaned in closer, hiding his face from view, his lips trailing over your ear. He whispered, "But you love me, you love me." He moved his head back, so his forehead was centered on yours. Then he closed his eyes, he shook. That hand you still held was trembling. I'm so sorry, I'm always like this. Kissed him. You pulled him into you, kissing his lips. He returned it desperately. Cove managed to bring a fragile smile onto his face. He was still shaking, but there was something decided about him.
I love you.
I love you, Snow. I love you. He repeated it more, as if to make up for all the times he didn't let himself say it before. As he spoke, his tears dried up, and his breath became more even. The affirmation helped him calm down. Thank you for telling me. If I do cry, I'm sorry. Cove's smile was bolder. Even his voice wavered. He ducked his head with a childish shyness. He clearly fought against being emotional again. His watery eyes, his mussed hair, the tears still drying on his cheeks. You loved him so much. I need to tell you, Cove held the sides of his face, but moved his thumb down to brush your lips. It was exciting. He wanted to keep touching you, wanted to do that too. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh. I forgot about this. Yeah. I guess we'll press him against the wall. Then you stepped forward with purpose and pressed your hands against his shoulders. You kept walking. His eyes widened, but you let him lead him, stepping back at the prompting. Ko squeaked when he made contact with the wall. Is he a bottom? He might be a bottom. I think he's a bottom. Yeah, he's a bottom. Ko squeaked when he made contact with the wall. He stared up into his flushed face. Ko's body was tense, being in such a position. But you knew with complete certainty that it wasn't in a bad way. You could feel one of his knees rubbing against the side of your leg encouragingly. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Is there an NSFW version of this? I don't know. Whisper his name, Cove. Yeah, you said it hushed under your breath, then brought your lips to his ear and repeated longingly, Cove. A shiver went through him and his grip on you tightened. He had to, with the way his knees almost buckled. Kissed his lips. He began to give Cove a kiss, and he welcomed it. Both of his hands cradled your head gently. He was full of sweetness for you, and eagerly you took it. And he separated when you needed air. You huffed, getting oxygen back into your lungs. All the while grinning at your boyfriend. Would I be... Cove beamed at you and then kissed you back once more. A brief but solid stamp of his affection. Alright. And kissed all over his face. You moved your face over to his cheek and gave it a nice smooch. He smiled and then planted another on the tip of his nose. You kissed his forehead, moved on to gently brush your lips against his eyelids, then the corner of his mouth. He made small pleased noises and wrapped his arms around your lower back. He pressed himself even closer against you. we'll do the neck, then the butt. Maybe that's how it is. I don't know. Kiss the neck. You nuzzled up against him. You could hear his breathing pick up. You kissed him across the exposed part of his neck. He made a quick gasp and let out a long sigh. While you bruise yourself over his neck, he reached down to stroke your thighs slowly. Wait, I think there's one point where, like, our parents find out, oh, he's breaking in. Is it this? I think it is. What is this? Slid your way down to his back, skimming the muscle along. You can feel them tying the lower you got. You pause at the base of his spine, fingers tapping with intention. But giving him time to voice disagreement with your course of action, he did quietly murmur something. It's okay, I don't mind. I mean, it's not just that I want you to. You couldn't muster the last word, but still feeling validated, you let your hand cup his spine and squeezed it. Cove took a shaky breath of snow. His voice laced with embarrassment but not dissatisfaction. Then Cove carefully rested his hands on your shoulders and looked away. He took a few deep breaths as he kept you there. You could tell he was worked up, but could manage for tonight. Then he was alright. You were feeling rather satisfied too. You smiled a little and tried to slow your own racing heart. Couldn't help thinking about rest of the life with him. I hope we get to spend our whole lives together. Cove's expression crumpled again. He wasn't able to tamp down the new wave of emotion. His eyes watered once more, and he took a few heavy breaths. I hope so too. We could be together always. Have a place of our own. Ooh. Should we do kids? I don't know. Kids. And a pet. Nope, no multiple. If you think so. His eyes widen when you at the picture you were painting. Cove seemed more than a little overwhelmed. Being a dad, the idea of it intimidated him. I'm sure you'd be a great father, Cove. Cove wasn't able to find the words. Instead, he squeezed his eyes shut and nodded resolutely. Your eyes lifted. He was anxious, but he wanted a family with you. You felt warm being able to talk about this openly. You liked to imagine your life. Imagine the life you could have together. And now you could do it with him. He rubbed at his scarred arm bashfully. You know, I thought having to grow up for real was gonna be so hard. I didn't know if I could eat. Sorry, I can't speak because I'm hungry. I didn't know if I even could, but you? Well, maybe it won't be so impossible. I mean, I better make sure it's not, huh? I'm looking forward to it. Finally, he was able to laugh softly. The tears were nothing but salty remnants on his cheeks. He brightened up as if finally able to process the absolute joy of tonight in full. I'm hungry, God. Should I take a break just to get something to eat? We'll do that. I'll save this is 1:37:30 break. Hi, sorry. Ugh. Coughing a lot. Gonna be eating while I stream. Phone is about to die, so maybe no camera? No camera. Camera, we're doing. Camera. There we go. There we go. Alright. Let's continue. You felt good too, and took a little more time together to simply exist in the new dynamic you had stepped into. Cove looked into your eyes with a soft, slightly shy expression. There was hope in his smile. You want to go into the hill with me? I bet there's still fireflies. Let's go. Cove Bryant, he was practically bouncing at the thought of a secret excursion before he suddenly became bashful.
So,
How should we leave? We could try the door. We don't have to do the window thing, but maybe that bother your family? Oh yes, I know what happens if we go to the door. They catch us. If I remember that correctly, they catch us. They're like, oh, alright. You both chuckled at how awkward it would be if your moms, or worse, Liz, saw you going on a midnight firefly catching trip. You'd be sure to avoid that. Leave from the window. We leave from the window. Let's go through the window. Cove nodded in understanding. You grabbed some shoes and readied yourself for an adventure. You were glad that there was no way you'd run into another soul outside. Cove would be overdressed and you were still in your jammies. Let Cove go first. He stepped back onto the ledge as he carefully followed. He shuffled along and soon you reached the garage. You planned to use the fence from there to reach the ground. Cove climbed down to the fence. He wobbled once, but he made it without an issue. He leaned against the fence and projected hush words up to where you were waiting.
are you okay?
Do you want help? Nodded yes. You got to the ledge and let Cove spot your descent. He grabbed you about halfway down and brought you to rest firmly on the ground. Cove gave you an encouraging smile, but neither of you risked speaking yet. You briskly snuck behind the house and up to the old white poppy hill. And Cove was right, the entire hill was lit up. Insects twinkling here and there with their pale yellow light. Cove let out a content sigh. Finally able to relax in full, he strode further up the hill to better enjoy the view. You walked along as well, letting yourself be surrounded by the twinkling display. Then, without warning, Cove plopped onto his back. He paid no mind to smacking his formal attire in the grass. He put an arm under his head and stretched the rest of his limbs out. He was clearly getting comfortable in the dirt there. Lay down on the grass. He sat down first and then fell back. You could see the stars when you looked up in the night sky. You snuggled against Cove. It was warm in contrast to the chilly ground. Cove cuddled closer in turn, tucking his arms near your shoulders. I wonder if Dad will be mad about the grass stains. He tugged at the collar of his shirt. He didn't sound concerned, just idly curious. At least they're dark. If you're lucky, you won't be able to tell. His smile bent a little and it went silent between you. The only sounds were the rustling of bugs in the breeze, the faraway crashes of waves on the sea. You can't help but reflect on what happened only on a brief time earlier. Between this and your room, it almost felt like a different world. Was it even real? What happened between the two of you? You could almost be convinced it wasn't, and that you had never actually stopped dreaming. stole a glance at Cove. Sorry. He caught you and blushed. That little reddening reassured you. Cove remembered the same as you. What you had was real. He asked Cove if he wanted to catch fireflies. It'd be a waste if we were out here and didn't try to catch fireflies. Let's do it. Cove turned his head towards you with a big grin. I think that sounds like a plan. You smiled at each other and Cove rolled his fancy sleeves up. Then he clambered up to his feet, full of bug-catching enthusiasm. Sorry, eating spicy food. He got up and brushed off your clothes. A pesky blade of grass tried to stay stuck to your back. With simultaneous nods of your heads, you both ran around the hill trying to take hold of the flying creatures. Every so often, one of you would succeed, like the children you once were. You would race over to the other to show off your catch. What had actually changed? The fireflies were as bright as ever, and you laughed together the entire time. The hour grew late, and the fireflies were mostly dispersed, until only a few stagglers remained, and then they blinked out of sight, leaving you alone with Cove and your thoughts. Cove stole a second to release the words that had been filling his head during the quiet. I love you, Snow. You felt a great deal of happiness. Cove's expression was completely open and honest and full of sincerity. He meant every word. He truly loved you. No matter how much it didn't seem real, it was. It felt as though this was a night that would never end. But you knew it would have to. All too soon. You were only grateful to have been part of it. These were moments to truly treasure. You never let yourself forget them. I'm gonna eat and then come back on stream. So, that was good. I love that, and I'll see you later.